All right, welcome back. You're watching News Sources. Let's shift gears. And the IEBC has been thrown into a massive spin after the High Court quashed its 2.5 billion tender for ballots. Presiding Judge Odunga found IEBC to be making irrational, unreasonable and unlawful public spending by offering that contract. Odunga questioned why disgraced IEBC commissioners went ahead to run the commission for a whole 3 months and make really, really key decisions. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Where should I start? Let me throw it on the floor. So, IEBC finds itself in a place whereby we always knew someone was going to get to court and say, you know what, 3 months this public in office, and they've made key decisions, and here these decisions have been quashed. And it throws the whole timetable into disarray.
So let me say, I don't know what you mean when you say IEBC. Where is the secretariat or the commissioner?
So in this sense, in this sense, for the entire IEBC to work, you need the actions of the secretariat to be endorsed by the commission. That is the entire IEBC.
Certainly, but I think that, in my view, that is a sober decision ruling, in the sense that if you have a team that is exiting, you don't allow them to continue doing and making some judgments, which may even be overturned by the coming team, leave alone even the court, the incoming team. At the moment when we decided we are in a transition, one team should go, one group of commissioners should go, and the other one should come in. That's the point at which we should have suspended any other kind of, especially financial expenditures. Okay, people will argue and say that some decisions can't be wished away. You can't suspend them altogether. But in my view, some of those are key decisions that you would have to suspend, waiting for a group, a kind of a group that has the credibility, kind of, that has the endorsement of the public, because the...
So the problem is this, that we decided in October that IEBC commissioners are going home, and the president declared those seats vacant. But still, in some sort of political arrogance of some sort, the commissioners decided they will stay until the other commissions come in, you know. And that is nowhere in law.
I think we need more judges who are very bold, who are willing to make decisions that might actually, court rulings that might actually be very unpopular. I think the former IEBC, commissioners were a bit arrogant, and they manifested, the perfect art of impunity, of staying in office while they were actually illegally in office, and they made key decisions. So I want this trend to continue, where we uphold the rule of law at all costs, regardless of whether it favors us or not. Kudos, Justice Judge Odunga.
I haven't read the whole ruling, but I think it's all. Amidst all the problems that we have people like Justice Odunga making decisions that are unpopular, but that also shows you. I can just take an example of the United States, where the president wakes up and say, I'm issuing an executive order for 7 countries. A judge in a very small district, the 9th Circuit, says that this executive order, he put a hold on it. And I think for us, that is the lesson. Yes. People can make whatever they want to do, but, as a country that aspires to follow the rule of law, we have judiciary for arbitration. And I think it's a good lesson. I don't want also us to, on one hand say what the Labour court said is terrible, what Odunga said is right. I think we have...
It's the court of public opinion, it's fine.
The court cuts both ways. It cuts both ways. Yeah. So, we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And I think for 2 seconds, this judgment just exposes the level of impunity that we have in this country. When the commissioners were declared out of office, they should have left and suspended everything. But this just exposes the kind of arrogance and impunity that we have around here. So it's timely, I may say.
Okay, timely was coming. Well, even as IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba says, the decision of the court means all decisions made by IEBC in the last 3 months were null and void. The voter listing exercise came to an end today, with expected number of new voters set to rise. And all over the country, long queues have been witnessed as last-minute rush to register as new voters hit a deadline. I think I have Okia Omutata, but first, before I get to him, let's listen in to some of those voters who are actually rushing to queue today.
Serikali ingepaswa tuongeze hata 2 weeks. 2 weeks kama ingekuwa mzuri. Juu sahi starting hawa watu wetu wengine wajao kupata nafasi. Na sahi hata wengine wanapata nafasi, mtu anapata 1 hour, arudi akikuja hapa line ni mrefu.
Kuna kina mama wase wengi sana wako hapa, na tukiona kwa kipanga laini ni shida mingi sana. Tungeomba serikali waongeze hii wiki moja ili tuandamane pamoja, kila mtu akuwe na hiyo kura. Siku ya leo kwa kusema kweli nimepoteza mambo ya Valentine na mimi niko nini wa Valentine sana.
Of course, what we are seeing here today is the usual way Kenyans do things. But I just want to encourage those who have not registered as voters to come on board and do it, because I think this is the last day. But my advice is that if we did it a little bit earlier, it would have been easier, because today there are so many people here.
Lakini ninaona ni afadhali watu watanguliage kuja mapema. Shughuli za mapema ni mzuri.
All right, and just this evening, the courts have extended for 2 days that registration exercise, argued by activist Okiya Mtata, who now joins me on phone, that in fact it is unconstitutional and wrong for the courts, or for the IEBC, I beg your pardon, to call a halt to the registration of voters. Okiya Mtata, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Smart.
Brilliant. Now, help me understand. We are all in these spins of some sort where the deadlines are a bit everywhere. And we all knew that the exercise is going to end today. And then we have this, that is going to be extended for 2 days. What's the rationale for your arguments?
My argument is that the IEBC should follow the deadlines the deadlines that have been given in law. First of all, they cannot. What I'm trying to urge the court to pronounce is that the IEBC cannot stop continuous registration at any stage, because it's a constitutional requirement that the people should be able to continue. There should be continuous registration of voters. Number two,
yes.
Yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
The second mass registration, I'm faulting it because it's based on the number of IDs issued in an area. And if you look at the number of the way IDs have been issued in this country, they're being used as a tool for voter suppression. And so I would like the IEBC to give us data of the adult population in regions, not of registered ID holders. We want the adult population so that we can know what percentage of that adult population has been issued with IDs before the IEBC can then tell us that this percentage will be that. And that's why you'll be able to find that whereas the population of Western Kenya and the population of Central Province are the same, the projections of the IEBC for Central are way much higher for voters in Central, are way much higher than those for Western, because more IDs have been issued in Central Province than have been issued in Western. And my argument is that with that kind of skewed issuance of IDs, those who issue IDs are given power to then suppress voters in other regions. And we would like to see that the data for ID issuance is equitable across the Republic. Then the IEBC register people without unnecessary restrictions on how you can access it. The other day, from where I come from, in Busia, we had riots, or rather demonstrations by citizens who cannot access IDs. Yet I've got evidence of a friend's child who applied for an ID on Friday in Central here and was issued an ID on Saturday, which means IDs are being printed on the ground in Central Province, but in Busia...
Okay. Yeah, just one question before I let you go. Here's the thing. Talking about issuance of ID and the adult population, so these issues are not confined to the IEBC. There are other institutions. So how will IEBC, say, for instance, control...
No, the IEBC is supposed to register adult voters, not ID holders. The Constitution requires adult Kenyan citizens to be registered as voters. The IEBC has no business relying on the issuance of IDs to register voters. It should be able to demand that before when it does registration of voters, there is equity in the way it goes about. Just wake up and say, we are taking 65% of registered voters in region, of registered ID holders in region, without going down to look at how are IDs being issued. So
finally, 30 seconds. Okay, do you want this listing and the voter registration to continue indefinitely, or what is your preference?
The law allows the voter registration to continue until 2 months to the election. That is 60 days to an election.
All right.
So the IEBC is trying to stop it at 5 months to an election. So what we are saying, they should allow Kenyans to register for the next 3 months.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Akimta, for making time to talk to us and talk to us about that. Now, let's move on. National Youth Service officials were caught yesterday with BVR kids conducting some sort of registration. The youth caught in Runda say they were conducting registrations for cohorts and not voters for the 2017 elections. Opposition leaders, however, have long contended that NYS was conducting some form of registration. Meanwhile, IEBC says there is no registration of voters being done by NYS and that the kits being used are not the same kits IEBC officials use. So here, we've had this easily. We have this gentleman caught the other day, and it's a whole just shrouded in mystery, and it's not a good thing to be happening at this time when we're trying to increase levels of confidence in our electoral process.
Exactly. It's not something good to happen at this point in time. Anyone should understand this country. I don't know what kind of kits they are using, and I don't want to go beyond what the IEBC has explained. But at any point in time, even if you are to remember during the post-election violence, one of the reasons that one of the things that caused the chaos was that there were buses transporting, I think, NYS officials or GSU, whatever they were.
AP officers.
AP officers. Whether that was true or not, it was a cause for suspicion. Now, this happening at a point when we are in this kind of very contentious voter registration, where we have even just come from a contention as to whether we should be manual or digital, whatever. This is one of the things that the government should watch out on. Why would the NYS be registering anyone, whether it's cohorts or wherever, at this point in time?
Yes.
Did they register them last year in the same manner? Those are the kind of questions that anybody should be asking. And this is a country that we all know what happens at any one point in time. Okay, because we shouldn't be caught up by surprises at any one point in time.
There's always someone who's trying to play games and undercut the electoral process. So when this happens, there's genuine grounds for suspicion.
And that is my problem. Clearly, a lot of it is, of course, if these things actually happened, of course everybody should be worried. But I think for me, it's the optics that this sends out. That, the Electoral Commission is not in charge either, or there are some people who are trying to game the system. What this does is it will be etched on people's memory that, oh no, it doesn't matter even if I vote or not, the outcome of this election is predetermined. What you do not want, what you want for an election to be successful is for there to be uncertainty about the outcome, but not the process. But for us, it's the other way around. We've kind of made our mind about the outcome, at least some people who have got interest in this, but the process is always uncertain. IEBC guys getting involved in that. I mean, Kia's argument that, they are registering ID card holders, not adults. I mean, all these things just makes the whole thing incredibly complicated.
I really want to, for the first time in the history of our country, I'm seeing a lot of vigilance. That is very good. We've actually unearthed a number of, suspicious activities, and I think we should continue doing that. Not just today, but until that day that we cast our votes and ensure that the electoral process in this country is above reproach. And we know that the people we put in office are the ones we voted for, not those who the dead voted for. And we are alive, they're ruling us.
What this brings out for me is that as a country, we should see the election as a process, not as an outcome or an event. Because we really focus on that August 8th and the outcome of that day. We are not really focusing our energies a lot on the process or how we'll get there. Because that's how we get away with registering ID card holders instead of adults, because we are looking at the final event or the final outcome of the voting.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must take you to Nyandarua County, where workers were yesterday so infuriated by their public service board that they decided to take matters into their own hands. Well, almost. Disgruntled casual workers of the Nyandarua Casual Workers emptied this matter at the entrance of the County Public Service Board. The workers were protesting against violation of agreements between themselves and the county government, taking matters in their own hands. That picture right there showing people taking control back of their country. That's looks like a public service action. I mean, this is what we should all be doing.
I think this is very reminiscent of what the doctors are doing, only that this one is a bit very graphic or very physical. The doctors are protesting the government not honoring a CBA.
Can I help you? They decided to take visual aids with them.
Yes. The doctors are at war with the government because the government did not honor a CBA that was signed. However it was signed, there was a CBA that was agreed upon between the government and the doctors. So what we are seeing over the last 72 days is what the Nyandarua casual workers have done in a day.
And other counties must follow suit, especially, this city that is under filth has literally been said. So let us collect them and take them back to the people who are supposed to collect them.
Yes, yes.
Let us go to Kisumu County and do the same, Mombasa and do the same. Let us take back our country. If it means taking whatever it is that, we need to take to them, we shall take it.
Yeah.
And during the day.
Visual aids.
Visual aids.
Hashtag sisemi kitu. But I think for me it's just very important. I mean, like, when you push people to a corner, they will respond in the only way that they can. I mean, like, this is what they do for a living, right?
Yeah.
They try and make our life, clean and everything, but you feel like you can, make their lives miserable, and then they just pay you in kind.
Yes, this activism, physical activism. Where you decide that we are tired,
yes,
this is what we'll do.
Yeah.
And people have a right to do those kind of those. That's the expression that is provided for in the Constitution. Once people feel they are fed up with the government, before they even remove it during the elections, these are some of the actions that they should be taking. And let them learn from that.
But it's such a terrible judgment upon Nyandarua County that now they have to deal with that. Really,
that's
literally.
It's just another country. I mean, I hope the other 46 other countries are watching and know to give us good material for news sources. Thank you very much for your company. Yes, I'll be letting you know the tweet results. On Twitter, I'll be, retweeting some of those in the next hour or so. Thank you very much, Dr. Masikori, not Daisy, Danish Odongo, Abdulai Boru, and Wahome Duku for making time.